I can't breathe. 1,
I can't breathe.
2,
I can't breathe.
3,
I can't breathe.
4,
I can't breathe.
5,
I can't breathe.
6,
I can't breathe.
7,
I can't breathe.
8,
I can't breathe.
9,
I can't breathe.
10,
I can't breathe.
11,
I can't breathe.
1,
I can't breathe.
2,
I can't breathe.
3,
I can't breathe.
4,
I can't breathe.
5,
I can't breathe.
6,
I can't breathe.
7,
I can't breathe.
8,
I can't breathe.
9,
I can't breathe.
10,
I can't breathe.
11.
It's incredible that we have to be out here over a year and almost 6 months after Eric Garner was killed. When I saw that video, when those feelings and those emotions went through my body, I thought for sure we were gonna shake this city and this police department down to the ground. And for everything that we did, this police department has shown one thing. It will do everything in its power to remain on our necks and with its arms around our communities. And we have to keep pushing and pushing. We have to hold individual cops accountable, but at the same time and in the same breath, we have to hold police leaders accountable, and in the same time and in the same breath, we have to hold the whole political system accountable, because they're all part of the same beast. There are street soldiers like Daniel Pantaleo who do the dirty work. There is Commissioner Bratton on the 14th floor over there that oversees it, covers up the other police officials at the precinct levels. They cover up. Remember Daniel Pantaleo? Remember that initial report? They didn't even include the part that there was a chokehold. Like immediately after the fact, there was already attempts to be a cover-up, but it was only because thousands of people mobilized and the families mobilized and everybody came out that they couldn't cover it up, and we have at least pushed them to this point. Now they're throwing this sergeant, this black sergeant, in kind of like as a crumb to say we're going to do something. They're saying the Department of Justice, which is in this building, is putting a hold on Daniel Pantaleo's future, that they can't do anything. And let me tell you something, they all work together, they all sit around, they have lunch together, they've all figured this out, how they're gonna play this game with us. The one thing you gotta know when you come from the streets, we're not naive.
Right.
We know bullshit when we see it. And this has been going on for far too long. The one simple demand, to fire Pantaleo, hold him accountable, you won't even give us that, so we're gonna take the whole thing. We're gonna take the police commissioner, we're gonna take this man, we're gonna take everybody down with him, because we can no longer allow even one more person in our communities and our families, men, women, children, they all fair game apparently to the police department. We can't let one more go down. I don't want to march for another hashtag. I don't want to come over here with another picture for another body. I want to just start holding them accountable. And so sometimes, you know, I'm a football player, sometimes a good defense is a good offense, and you got to go after people. And I think it's our duty, right? As Asada said, it's our duty to fight, it's our duty to win. We got to fight not only the police department, we got to fight all the politicians that enable them, the ones that turn their backs on us, the ones that tell us one thing out, and then on the other side they're making deals in the background. So it's a beautiful thing that we're still coming out here strong, and we're still gonna keep holding these police officers accountable, the sergeants accountable, the precinct commanders accountable, the police commissioners accountable, and every part of the political system, which has for decades and decades, and even before then, allowed this police state to be created around our bodies.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. We want to also focus on Ramsey Alter, who actually filmed the video of Eric's murder, and he exactly. So actually, we're going to bring up Aunt Shirley. She's been a strong advocate since day one in Ramsey's corner, even when no one else was. So we'd like to bring her up to represent for Ramsey.
All right, Sister Shirley.
Okay. Got it? I got it. Okay, bottom line is, everybody here should know who Ramsey Alter is. And if you don't, you need to be ashamed of yourself. He is our true people's hero. He is the one, the only one who stood up and made a difference for not only Eric Garner, who was his friend. Don't get it twisted. He wasn't a bystander. That was his friend. And he stood up And he made a difference for Eric Garner and everybody else. If it wasn't for Ramsey Orta, we would not be here today. This has been happening for years and years and years and years, okay? Amadou Diablo, Anthony Baez in 1994, when he was just playing with a football outside of his house, and the cops just drove by, and the ball hit the cop car, and they choked him to death, okay? It's been happening for years. Nicholas Haywood Jr., 13 years old. Ironically, he was playing cops and robbers, right, with a fake gun. It was obviously so fake, light brown handle and an orange bright tip, and they killed him. Our so-called, no, he's not my leader, and he shouldn't be yours, sharp ass. He's been out here a long time. Nothing has changed, nothing, okay? And unfortunately, there's a whole lot of people who got this sharp ass syndrome. It goes like this: don't worry about it, I got this is mine, okay? It's not about sharp ass, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about all of us. And Ramsey Orta put us all out there. So we need to be out there for him. And as far as I can see, we're not out there for him the way he deserves to be out. We're supposed to be out there for him. We're supposed to have his back. If the cops wanted him, nothing would have happened to him. He wouldn't have gotten arrested not one time. But he's gotten arrested 3 bogus times. They not only did it here on Staten Island, the forgotten borough, but here in Manhattan. We need to be there for Ramsey. We need to be there for all of us, because there, by the grace of God, go me, you, and all of us. Don't get it twisted. It has to do with racism. Most definitely, it has to do with racism, okay? And the mass incarceration, that's the new plantation. So we need to stand together and let them know we're not going away. We're still here, and we're going to be here. And we're going to be here for Ramsey. Okay? That's right. There you go.
That's right.
Right.
Big salute to Ramsey. Filming the police is definitely one of the options that we should use to the best of our abilities, as well as staying on the ground, going to city councils, being more active in the community. And speaking of community, this incident took place on Staten Island, and even though it went viral, Staten Island is often overlooked when it comes to support. So actually today, some of Staten Island's main warriors that's been on the ground since the beginning, they actually came to Manhattan today to bring it over the bridge, over the water. We have Sierra PB, and we're here from Dave.
Ramsey Orta is my hero, and he's a live hero, and I want to make sure he stays that way. I want to emphasize how important it is to make sure that we have a lot of people when the trial starts. The problem is the lawyers, who seem very good as criminal lawyers, don't really want to give us instant communication. I've tried to talk to them. But if you follow Sierra PB, Staten Island Against Racism and Police Brutality, we're going to have a cell loop so we can tell everybody when the trial starts, and every day. This is an issue that's been with me since I was a young man, since I was a teenager.
That wasn't that long ago.
1964, when they had the Harlem Rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
Wanted for murder, Gilligan the cop was what started it, a poster. I went up to a friend's apartment, and we watched it on the news, and I looked over, and you could see what was going on in Harlem. I think that they do this because they want to keep everybody separated. Racism they use to control and super exploit African Americans and make more money from them. Immigrants who work for little money, and they use it to hurt the white workers because racism keeps them from uniting, and they lose, and they back these lousy politicians.
That's right.
When we think we have a good politician, think again. A lot of people had faith in de Blasio. I mean, these other speakers took it up. They took it up from Pantaleo to Bratton. De Blasio, first person to appoint was Bratton. Yeah, he got rid of stop. Huh?
After seeing his record already.
Right. He got rid of stop and frisk. What did he do? He got broken windows, like Joe Smart's group says. Broken windows. Somebody heard two cops talking on the ferry. I guess they didn't see him behind him. What's the difference? You know, the difference is now we got to make up an excuse. That's broken windows. Stop and frisk, we're just looking for anybody. Now we need a little bit of excuse. That's what they did to Eric.
Right.
And broken windows killed Eric Garner.
Right.
And de Blasio was the politician they thought was going to bring change. Sierra PB was formed when they announced the no indictment on the campus. We now have a community chapter. We have buttons, by the way, if I haven't seen everybody, supporting justice for Eric Garner and solidarity with Ramsey Orta and solidarity with him. I know, unfortunately, I know most of your faces because I've seen you there. We need more people, so I don't know everybody's face. So I don't have to say, gee, I remember you. I don't know who you are, but I may not remember the name. We need to build for this because I want to keep my only live hero alive. Yeah. And that's what we got to do.
Right.
Good.
Right.
Bless you.
Yeah,
The trick to that is that all these videos that's being taken about this, we should all post it on our page and make it go as viral as possible. That's how we
right.
save
The
his life.
internet is a good,
good
it's
highway.
great stomping grounds as well. Speaking of warriors that's always on the ground, we have Sister Agnes here. I would like to bring her on. And she actually had a hard time getting
How you
here,
doing?
thanks to the killer cops.
How you doing? Not even that cold. I'm on fire. I'm on fire right now. I just had an incident on 161st Street in front of Yankee Stadium. I've been watching the buses in the Bronx. The police have been ticketing poor people. $100 tickets.
Yes.
On certain buses now.
That's
right. Certain buses.
That's right.
Children, when they come from school, if they get on to the back, even though they have a pass, because they don't send enough buses, so people try to get on any way they can.
That's right.
So we solved that, and luckily they started now. 161st and Jerome is the first stop for a lot of the 13 buses, so people can get on. But there's still, if people go in the back and don't realize that, they're undercover cops, they're waiting to give them a ticket. So for the past 3 weeks, I've been handing out flyers and telling people and taking over buses. So I thought it was clear today. Everybody was so happy. Oh, we got the bus situation straightened out, Mrs. Johnson. We helped, we did whatever, we were so empowered. Today, I went to that bus stop, and there are 5 undercover cops just waiting at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, people trying to get home.
Exactly.
And an elderly woman, not that she was middle-aged, went into the back door. And didn't those cops rush in that bus, stop anybody from getting on any buses, and pull her off? She was pleading. She was crying. She was saying, I have it unlimited. I have it unlimited. And they didn't care. But they did care that I was able to gather them, the crowd of people. And I told the crowd of people what they needed to do, which is to take their pictures right now, which is to call 311 to comment to the mayor, not to the NYPD, comment to the mayor, to call 511 to the buses, MTA, for doing this on their buses. And also to their city council member, Vanessa Gibson, the public safety person, that our community is not safe from terrorization. That woman went home tonight in tears, demoralized, terrorized. And what did the cops do? As I snapped their picture and walked by, they screamed, get her, get her. So I quickly called and sent texts to everybody I could, including my sister here, to say, if I don't get here, just know that they got me. They didn't like that I took their picture, so they got my picture, they claim. But they already got my picture from years ago. I'm in books. Hey, The Enemy Within, I'm in the book, and Kelly kept a file on me, so go right ahead. In the 1980s, I received awards as the most outstanding woman in Who's Who in America. I danced with Ellen. I performed the role of Mary in the Black Nativity for the Pope and Pope John in Rome. I traveled the world to come back and see this. And for this woman cop to say, get her. I wish they would have gotten me. But I walked on and kept moving because I knew I had to get here. But I'm telling you, it is on. I took over the train all the way here. All the way here, the people on the train. No, we cannot wait or look for any politician to help us. By the word politician, that should tell you they are into careerism. They are not going to help us. I left New York in '87 to go to Syracuse to be part of the Metropolitan School for the Arts because I was sick of what I saw on the trains of New York. And I've come back in 2004 or 5 to see everything was given away. Everything we worked for in the 70s and 80s was given back.
That's right.
Why? Why? No, we gave it back. We believed in the hope. We believed in the hope. Instead of saying, you show me.
Read the hype.
Look, open up your new council page. Open up your government. The council page, it says, what's their slogan? We will work with you. Wait a minute. I thought we sent them in there to work for us.
That's right. That's right.
For us. Now tomorrow and Monday, these politicians, they're gonna hear from me. And I'm gonna be on the street again, pushing people to take over their communities. The Bronx is the next wild, wild west that they are taking down. Those poor people are so under. I asked them, are you Al-Qaeda? Are you Al-Qaeda? I asked them. Is that why you need these cops in undercover? Look at 5 of them to take this one woman down for what? Now that's for my friends because I text everybody. This may be it. So my daughter, everybody. This may be the day that they've never gotten me behind bars. Never! I will never let them put me behind bars.
Right.
I will never stand up there for some historic picture with their number on me. Never! Ray Kelly, Bratton, don't be mad at them. They are beasts. They can only be beasts. That's all they can be. I'm mad at the people that put them there.
Yes.
That were complicit to this day. The chokehold. Lynch says what? It's very important. Bratton says what? It's very effective.
That's right.
De Blasio says what? I'm still thinking about it. They got to pass a bill. You got a law. It says no. But they're tricking the people thinking they got to pass a bill. No. You got a bill. So please, we got to get this energy back up again. The young people are there. They're on the buses and the trains. That's where our people are. The politicians are not going to help us. And those in there are getting paid. They're getting paid for these tickets they're giving out. They're getting paid. So they will never be on our side. Never. Thank you.
Yes, it's quite strange to see how they're wasting the taxpayers' money on petty things as bus tickets and not using the money to tackle real crime. You know, that should give us a lot to think about. Right now we want to bring on Reverend Befford. So give the brother a hand.
Yes. Right.
Well, peace be with everybody today. You know, a lot of you may know me, most of you don't, and so forth. I'm usually the man behind a lot of things, or the man just giving advice and tactics behind a lot of things. But I'm coming to y'all today to speak on many things. One of them is the murder of Eric Garner. That should not have happened, because this is not an isolated incident at all. There's too many hashtags and too many names out there of many black and brown that have been suffering, that have been persecuted, that have been murdered, that have been targeted for what? For profit, for property, and for racism. You know, and one thing that I like to hear is when those who've been in the movement before myself speak on the truth, which was, just like the sister said, that everything that they worked for back in the 70s is now gone. And I can tell you the reason why it's gone, because everybody has become complacent. Because when they decided to give us the civil rights we did have, what they did not realize that was just limitations right there. That was what I call the give a dog a bone complex. Let me give you this so that way you can be quiet, or your next generation can be quiet. Now, our elders in the past They stayed fighting. They stayed marching and protesting. The problem is that the system killed them off before they could pass the torch to us. So we basically had a long line of complacency for nothing. We sat there and we killed ourselves. At the same time, we allowed the system to sit on our backs even more, because they want to give us games, because they want to let us now sit on this part of the bus, then that part of the bus. You know, that's not freedom. That's limited rights. Freedom is actually going out there and not having the fear of one day being picked up by a cop for something you didn't do, or something you may have done but was unarmed, and catching 16 bullets in your back, or being choked out on the street trying to provide for your family. I have 5 children. The day that they take me away from my children is the day that they wage war on my family. The day that they taken each one of our brothers and sisters from us is the day that they wage war against our culture, against our people. And we have forgotten about that. Because this is not some time for us to just sit back and watch it and be, be patriotic towards the civil rights movements of today via Facebook, via Twitter, via Instagram. This is time for us to get up off the couch and actually come out and march, support each other. In the same way with all these organizations that are out there that they want to speak bad about this organization because this organization's out there marching all the time. Or this organization that's always out there in front of City Hall or in front of, one Police Plaza and so forth like that. Instead of talking down on the organization, how about you get over your pride and actually join them? Because the power is in the numbers. It's not in you just want to be in front of a camera all day long or only want to show up at the end of the day when you hear that there's a media conference. It's about going out there, let your voice be heard. Because back in the day, half of the time there was no media out there for the marches and for the protests, but they were still out there doing it. They were risking their lives and their freedom for us today. But we have basically made them work in vain if we just sit there and be quiet and stay complacent. Complacency is the acceptance of the wrong. And if you're out there being complacent, then you are just as guilty as the system. If you're out there, you're seeing somebody being harassed, you see the youth out there being harassed, and you're not letting them know about their rights, you're not coming and supporting them, you're not trying to give them opportunities, you are just as guilty as the system that was built to break them down and to keep them from being free. We have many avenues. We have ACS and CPS going out there kidnapping the kids out of the black and brown homes for profit.
That's right.
Okay, you also have the school to prison pipeline systems.
That's right.
Just because they say that your school in your neighborhood is an A school doesn't mean that it's an A school. It just means the best in your community because they're not putting it in comparison with the other schools that they're putting more money into. So don't be satisfied with them just saying, hey, well, this is an A school because we gave them 2 books this year. How about we start taking back our education? Matter of fact, here goes a good plan. How about we start educating our children more about their past so they can be ready for their future?
Eyes on the prize.
Because if they don't know about the leaders of the past who have sacrificed, about the marches of the past and organizations and the movements of the past that have sacrificed their lives, who have been murdered, such as MOVE, such as the Panthers, such as Martin Luther King, such as Malcolm X. Matter of fact, teach them about Nat Turner as well. These are movements that happened for years, but yet they're not teaching the kids this because as long as the children don't learn, the children don't know. As long as the children don't know, they die missing.
Special ed.
Exactly. Exactly. So we must keep it going. Now a lot of y'all out there may be like, oh well, we leave it up to the schools. No, stop depending on the system because the system don't care. The system is here just to make money off of the bodies in the seat. It's up to us as a community. It's up to us as a family. We may not be blood, but we are all family. We are all to support each other. There's no reason why Legacy must be without her father right now. There's no reason why Laquan McDonald's mother must be without her son. There's no reason why India Kaga must be laying in a box while her mother and her 2 children are wondering what happened. Where's the justice? The justice is what we provide and the accountability that we place out there. Because the system is not going to be accountable for itself. Because the system refuses to police itself. They shake each other's hands and they laugh at the actions that they do. So I say that we now take it to the system and let them know how serious that we are about our rights, our freedom, not only for us, but for those in the past and for those in the future. Beginning with our children, ending with us. Simple as that.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
So the brother touched on a lot of our ancestors, and as we know, our original culture is heavy on African spirituality, and what we can do is call on the ancestors to be with us. So I'm going to call out a few names, and after each name, we all say Ashe. All right? Oh, I don't think... No. Anybody has water? No.
It's all good.
All right. Malcolm X.
Ashe.
Marcus Garvey.
Ashe.
Nat Turner.
Ashe.
Harriet Tubman.
Ashe.
And we usually wait for people to pass to pull on their energy and give them the amount of respect that they deserve. But we're not going to do this with this queen. I said it, Shakur.
Ashe.
That's right. Now, before we bring the next person up, I also want to touch on the youth and the gang culture. One thing that we do need to spread to them is where the gangs originally were created for, and maybe they can have a better understanding of where they should take their gang culture for this day and age. As we may know, the gangs were created to actually protect the communities, not to go against each other. That was a part of the infiltration as well, where they put the gangs against each other, and we, once again, we've been bamboozled. So it's about undoing what Willie Lynch did. I also want to touch on the solidarity between the families that have been affected by these tragedies, and I want to stress to others to not wait for it to hit your doorstep for you to get out here with us. So let these stories be alert to you, because you don't want this to be you and your family next. So at this time, we want to bring up Joshua. Let's give the brother a hand. His uncle was actually murdered by the NYPD.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Joshua Lopez. My uncle was murdered by an undercover police officer in 2011. And Eric Garner's case has so many similarities to my uncle's case. They were both 43 years old, and they were both breaking up a fight. And his case has really touched me, Eric Garner's. Not only his, but so many others out here. And I'm also here to talk about the sergeant that was stripped of her gun and badge, Kizzy Adonis, I believe. There was another police officer back 10 years ago in Buffalo. She her co-worker was choking a suspect.
Eric Garner.
This was in 2006 in Buffalo. She's been on the force for 19 years, and she was terminated for trying to stop her co-worker from choking this man to death. And she also had her jaw broken by her co-worker for trying to break up the fight, and she was terminated from the department. And I'm here to tell everybody that I'm not trying to defend any cop, because I don't like any cop at all. But I'm over here to tell you that we need accountability for every single cop. And Daniel Pantaleo, the thug, and his co-defenders that murdered Eric Garner to death in front of a camera, we need them to be held accountable also. And Ramsey Order, I've been in his court days, and I've been witnessing special response officers and court officers following him and trying to intimidate him every single court day he has, him and his followers. And we have to stand up for him and every life that was stolen from us. And we have to be the voices for them. And I thank you all for being here.
That's right. Thank you. So as Joshua stated, there was a black police officer who did try to do something before, and she basically caught hell. And that is something I thought about with Sergeant Kizzy. She may be in the same position, but a message from the movement, from the Queen Assata Shakur, we have nothing to lose but our chains. So if you're going to be a scared slave, then you might as well just bow down, get out the way. Now, we want to keep it moving. We have Eric's cousin here, Benjamin, and he's going to represent for the family of Eric Garner as well.
Again, my name is Benjamin Lawton, and I'm Eric Garner's first cousin, and I've been in this struggle from the door. The day I heard that they killed my cousin, it was the next day. I happened to see it on the news. I was hearing my cousins telling me on Facebook and all that, oh, rest in peace, uncle and stuff. I'm like, hold on, who are you talking about? It took me a while to get that information, and then when I found out, I rushed straight over to Staten Island. And from that day on, I'm in this movement because we have to make these cops accountable. We have to let them know that our lives matter. And for us to do that, we have to stand solid. We have to be together as an organization, as a group, as a community. We need to come together. Every organization who's fighting for justice should be on the same page. We need to keep our children safe. Our children ain't safe going to school and going to the grocery store because we have to fear if the cops are going to shoot them or choke them to death. Why? Why do we have to do that in this day and age? This is new millennium. We're supposed to have that already. We should have learned from the mistakes made in the past already. But as long as our people just continue to not have unity amongst ourselves, they're gonna say, oh, we can do anything to them because, you know, they don't really care about themselves. We have to start caring about each other. Like Ramsey Orta, yo, that's my new brother. He was my brother from the day he made that video. I didn't know him before that. My cousin knew him, and they were friends. He became my brother because he stood up and protected, or tried to protect, and in a sense has protected his name to live on by making that video. And he's being constantly persecuted. And he's standing alone. We need to get out there whenever they out there to get him, we need to be out there to stop them. Yeah. Right. Whenever they're out there to get any of us, we need to come together to be out there to stop them. Because they feel like they have a license to go and do black people any old kind of way. Black, Hispanic, Chinese, it doesn't matter what race you are, nationality you claim, the cops are against you. Period. It's them against any civilian. It's no longer a black and white thing, but there's racism involved. Because if it was a black officer, because look what they're doing to the sergeant. She's being thrown under the bus. Why? Because she's black. And they figure they give us a bone. No. The good Reverend said, they're giving us a bone. We don't want the bones. We want accountability for all the officers involved, as well as the EMS workers who was there on the scene as well. They should have done their jobs too. If they'd have done their jobs, even after the police did what they did, he would still be alive. So we have to get accountability across the board. Obama spoke for open government. We need open government right here in our inner city. Exactly. We need it right now. Not yesterday, not the day before, but last year. We needed it. We needed it from the beginning. Okay, it's good like the president to start right now. Give us accountability on across the board so that we can be able to feel some kind of justice, some kind. I mean, let us know that we matter because we helped build this country on our blood, sweat, and tears. And we're still crying, and we're still bleeding, and we're still sweating. But the country is still standing on our back. We need to get some kind of elevation, some sense of worth. But we got to start with ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves first. So my message to the community is start representing you, who you are. Make your leaders in these so-called buildings back here know that we put you there and we can take you out. All it takes is a vote. And if all of us is against you, who can stand with you? Yes. So we have to get that unity. You know, the brother said that about the gangs. I remember, because I'm 46. I remember when gangs was out there and it was about protecting the community. And the police infiltrated and made one gang go against the other gang and made it a gang rivalry and everything was gang violence and they got a gang intelligence and they want to lock everybody up for gang. No, it wasn't a gang. It was a community of individuals who banded together to be together, united, to protect their community. And that's what we're trying to do. We're here together in the name of my cousin Eric, but on the strength of his daughter, his baby that he's left behind, Legacy Garner. Turn the cameras towards that so you can see. Legacy Garner has been left behind on the fact that these police decided that she didn't need a father. Do we need the police to decide whether we need to be with our family? Do we need the police to make that decision for us? If we need to be there for our children? No, we need to decide that. We decide to raise our children right. We police our own children at home, and then the police won't have a hard job out in the street. And that is what we're trying to do today. So justice for Eric Garner, justice for Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, and all the others that was lost in this war. And make no mistake about it, we are at war. There's a genocide being committed in this country. They're systematically extinguishing the black man. We gotta stop. We gotta stand up and say no. We don't gonna take it no more. So justice for who?
Eric Garner.
Justice for who?
Eric Garner.
Eric
Garner.
Eric
Garner.
That's right.
No justice,
No peace.
So before
police.
Can I just say something for a second? I just want to let everybody know that we might not all get together. We might have to be the warriors that are needed. Stop looking for the crowd to be behind you to do what is right. You do what is right because it is right. Now these cops are standing back here. I don't know if you remember when Occupy Wall Street was over there.
Yeah.
Some of us on the anniversary of the death of Sean Bell came over here and poured libations right where they're standing. So I ask now that the spirit of Sean Bell reach up and grab them in a chokehold tonight so that they can't even swallow their spit. Remember, the ancestors and the power of the fallen are with us. We don't need an army. They will fall by their own hubris. They will fall by their own arrogance.
Yes, the queen is right. If we look at the people that's running the world, it's some people call them the 1%, some people call them the 10%, but they are the smallest minority, and they're running the whole world. So they didn't need everybody to be on the same page or at the table with them. So the queen is correct. Also, before I bring up Drew Miller, who is the mother of Legacy Garner, I wanted to touch on something that Drew brought to my attention on the way here. She said Daniel Pantaleo has a child that's around the same age as Legacy, and they'll be going to kindergarten around the same time. So this led me to start thinking, Daniel Pantaleo's a monster. So I have no doubt that he's going to raise his child to be a monster. So what are we going to raise our children to do? And I definitely want to salute Drew for raising Legacy to be a warrior. And we need more warriors. So it definitely starts in the home. You got children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, little cousins, siblings. Put that knowledge in their head now while they're young, and they will grow to be a warrior. I can attest to that because my mother taught me when I was young. So let's keep the cycle going, and let's give a big hand before Jewel comes on.
It's ugly. Well, guys, oh man, it's been literally 18 months, 2 weeks, and about 10 hours counting, and no word on accountability for the officers involved, for the EMS workers involved. Like Todd said, again, Pantaleo's going to be able to walk his child to kindergarten, and Legacy's not going to have that choice. So I need the feds to come back with something tangible, something that is going to explain, something that will explain to Legacy why her father was murdered. And the only thing that will be justified is Pantaleo being locked up, is the officers being locked up, is the EMS workers also being held accountable. Mobilizing, guys, you guys have been a great support, and I want us to continue to mobilize, hit the streets. I know it's late January, but we need to stay mobilizing. You know, we need an early action on a Monday or Tuesday morning so we can bring it directly to the Fed. So when they're picking up their coffee and they're reading their paper, they're gonna hear Eric Garner's name all day. You know, this is something that's been going on for so long, and I'm just sick and tired of coming out here asking for justice. Today I'm not asking. I want us really to just demand justice for this man, because it's been too long. 18 months is too long without any word on what's going to take place.
That's a year and a half that this man has been able to collect money for his family.
He is still being paid The city is paying them to watch his house. I don't understand when so many people have came out and saw the video of this murder and nothing is being done. Where do we go from here?
That's right. Now, we're actually going to end with marching across the street to City Hall. I just want to send a message collectively to the brothers and sisters that are on the streets murdering each other. If you think you gangster, why do you only turn your trigger on each other? When a police officer or someone from outside of our culture does something to us, we got to pull y'all teeth just for y'all to stand in peace with us. But you gangster. That is not gangster. And if you are going to claim any gangs for 2016, especially in New York, then really be a gangster and be about it. And do what the gangs were created for, which is to protect your own, your home, your family, and your communities. So we're
gangster for justice.
Exactly.
A gangster for peace. A gangster for your fellow man.
I can't breathe.
5.
I can't breathe.
6.
I can't breathe.
7.
I can't breathe.
8.
I can't breathe.
9.
I can't breathe.
10.
I can't breathe.
11.
I can't breathe.
7.
I can't breathe.
8.
I can't breathe.
9.
I can't breathe.
10.
I can't breathe.
11.
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
Now I'm in the struggle and I just can't leave. Calling out the violence of the racist police. We ain't gonna stop till people are free.
Say what?
We ain't gonna stop till people are free. I can hear my cousin calling, I can't breathe. Now I'm in the struggle and I just can't leave. Calling out the violence of these racist police. We ain't gonna stop till people are free.
If you don't mind, step out of the street,
We
please.
ain't gonna stop.
Miss, if you don't mind, can you step out of the street, please? Thank you.
I can't breathe.
1.
I can't breathe.
2.
I can't breathe.
3.
I can't breathe.
4.
I can't breathe.
5.
I can't breathe.
6.
I can't breathe.
7.
I can't breathe.
8.
I can't breathe.
9.
I can't breathe.
10.
I can't breathe.
11.
Why can't I get justice?
They got us in the chokehold.
Why can't I get justice? No justice.
No peace.
Police. Thank everybody for coming out, and let's continue to come out. Okay, Aunt Shirley, you want to end in a prayer, or the Reverend, or y'all could do it together?
Where the
We
Reverend
can end
go?
off in the prayer,
Reverend's right behind
and we also want to send out a message to our Asian police. Look at what they're doing with Peter Lang, and
Yep.
look at what they're doing with that cop that raped those women. You are not white. You are minority as well. So remember that, and you will be a scapegoat if you find yourself in the same situation. So think about it and get on the right side. Which side are you on?
Right. Remember internment camps. Remember those internment camps. And you weren't even immigrants.
Exacto.
Yeah, right.
Recuerda que es lo mismo, en inglés y en
All right,
español
so
es lo
we're
mismo.
closing us
We
out
would
in
not
prayer.
be silent and we would not go
You gotta
away.
form a circle. Everybody get in a circle, please.
The system has oppressed the people, but you always give the people the faith and confidence to rise up against it. Now, if we have to march around the city like you had to march around the walls of Jericho for it to fall down, then so be it. Because not only do we need this justice, not only do we need equality, but we need peace. And the peace we need in our lives is not just the peace and quiet, but it's the peace of knowing that we will no longer, as your children, be targeted by these people who are trying to oppress us because they have forgotten your doctrines. They have forgotten your teachings. They've forgotten that their power is limited and your power is unlimited and almighty. And I'm gonna leave it at Sister Shirley to finish this off.
We are blessed to have this day. Everybody needs to pull on whatever their higher power is and realize that this could be their last day on earth. Everybody, you have no idea how you are truly blessed. But by being blessed, we are our brother's keeper. We have to live every day like if it's our last, because tomorrow is not promised. So we have to look at each other, look out for each other. But don't let anybody take your joy away either. We need to stay together and be grateful for what we got and demand what we deserve to have. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.